When will those recommendations come? I mean, those are
Yeah.
that's drastic. I mean, you're
Yep.
talking about closing the school district because the city can't fund it.
And not closing the schools, of course, but saying let's transition to a regional arrangement where basically you get rid of the central office. Do we really need 4 or 5 superintendents in the lower valley, and 4 or 5 special ed directors, 4 or 5 business managers? I mean, you begin to look at economies of scale, and I mentioned that. I know that'll be controversial. People have a great deal of pride in their own local community school district, but if we're not able or willing to pay for it at a level of quality, I think at some point you do have to ask yourselves, in the interest of quality for the students, do we have to admit that a better arrangement would be to join forces with other towns and create maybe some economies of scale that could help the taxpayer while also helping the students? Those are questions right now, and it would take years to work through those issues. And none of that will affect the 2012 budget that we started off talking about. But I mention it only to say, people say, well, you should work harder to be more efficient. You should be creative. We're trying to be creative, and we're putting some pretty awkward questions on the table in terms of closing schools, consolidating schools, regionalizing the school district. These things in the long term may be things that need to be considered if the community decides it cannot fund its system as it's currently configured at a level that can work well for kids. We have a lot of students who do very well in the school system, but we have far too many who don't perform academically anywhere near where they're capable of. Our dropout rate is too high. We've got too many freshmen repeating the 9th grade because they're not catching on to life at the high school level. So we have a lot of quality issues to deal with, and yet every year we seem to be dealing with them with a shrinking staff and a shrinking resource base.